Welcome to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Sue Roscoff, and we are live here today for Ability Now with Cece Carr. We're here every first Saturday of the month, and Cece is here with us. I am so happy to see you today. How are you?
I am amazing, Sue. Thank you so much for having me today. Just like I said, I'm Cece Pound Cake Carr. Everybody call me Pound Cake because I make these luscious pound cakes from scratch. And I'm out of Conyers, Georgia. And right now, I'm in the process of communicating the updates regarding the lack of water resources in Conyers, Georgia. Now, since we talked last month, God has allowed me to learn certain things about the insurance industry. One being, whenever there's a natural disaster, which we had in, really wasn't a natural disaster, it was biolab fire. It was chemical fire, September 29th, 2023. And it actually caused quite a bit of damages, including accelerated deterioration of our common areas. And I was the only one, by the grace of God, that filed a report. And based on that report, I got much pushback from the third party contractor who was accepting these claims, damage claims. And yesterday, by the grace of God, I learned that our HOA president at the time, that's 2016, had he had filed insurance claims back in 2016 and had replaced 17 roofs, and we have a total of like 18 buildings, 19 buildings. And because he did that and this fire happened, and it caused accelerated damages to the property, we are entitled to receiving updates, or not just updates, we're entitled to receiving money because of this fire. And no one even thought about it. But see, I've been taking notes for a long time, and I've been receiving information from the community as well as from the HOA. And since God blessed me with this information, which I followed up with, one being we paid $102,000 for new roofs back in 2016. We also paid something like $40,000 to upgrade the what do you call it, landscaping, and we did some other work um to deal with sewer leaks. That was $35,000, and we paid $8,000 for a fire hydrant, as noted in a letter from the HOA president. His name was Michael T. Zanetti, and you can see that on these documents where he clearly states that we had siding put on the buildings also. 1466, 1460, 1452, 1464, 1462, and 1492. They put siding, as well as they had replaced um, the roofs, and that the insurance paid approximately 102,000, the insurance company. So with that, that has to be segregated with biolabs contractors, because now it's only been less than 10 years since we had new roofs, and roofs do not deteriorate quickly. It's a process. But because there was chlorine burning it all over Conyers, Rockdale County, it accelerated the damages or the value of our property. And because this was documented back in 2016, um, this biolab has the responsibility of replacing our roofs. And see, that wouldn't have happened if this HOA wouldn't have been would have been transparent and told us the truth about lack of water resources instead of turning off the water illegally. No court order, no proper notice, nothing. And so now that we are over 2 years down the road, we're now seeing that the board members, and they're all listed here right now. We have the board members as Karen Travis, Lillian Dominguez, Cindy Banks, Ron Martin, Monica Bauer, and Trina Hodge. Right now, they propose that we buy a new fixture in front as far as signage. Well, the previous sign was still there, but it was accelerated in deterioration because of this chlorine fire with Biolab. And we paid $5,500 for a new sign. Yes, the sign looks good, but we're supposed to get a refund from the insurance company. So today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And because of this Biolab fire, 2024, they owe us some money. And not only that, chlorine also causes deterioration of asphalt, of buildings, of landscaping, of us as people on the inside, as well as it has caused us to lose value in our property. So because of this letter dated in 2016 by Viewpoint East Condominiums president, because he specified how much the insurance paid, as well as we have a $20,000 water meter in front of the neighborhood, as required by the county. $20,000 they got from us back in 2016. So why do we have to have individual water meters? We don't. We already bought a new water meter. But the fact that he mentioned something about it in his letter dated 2016 says a whole lot. Okay. And then they said that the roofing application was not done properly, but perhaps that company has insurance and we can make a claim on that. And that's the reason why we use bonded contractors to do work as required by the mortgage industry and the insurance industry. So the fact that the insurance paid $102,000 for our roofs to be taken care of back in 2016 says a whole lot. And then the fact that we cited 6 other buildings says a lot. And then we invested in other jobs such as landscaping, tree cutting, pest control. In his letter, he says we replaced 200 feet of tie walls, some of which were 8 feet high and cost a little over $40,000. That's a lot of money. And then we fixed 3 main sewer leaks at $35,000. That's adding up some money. Okay, not only that, we still had tremendous debt dealing with the water. And I think that is due to lack of maintenance of the water lines. but that's just my personal opinion. It needs to be a property inspection, including a forensic property inspection of the common areas to confirm that. And that's why, since biolab chemical fire would accelerate the damages because it's a corrosive chemical, adding chlorine, that was released during the fire, it has caused accelerated deterioration. That includes the infrastructure, fences, common areas, water systems, asphalt, and buildings. And it's important that all this be addressed. And it did destroy our landscaping because my bushes and grass were all burned up. I was burned up. And then they also have to um, replace our ventilation system in our homes. And when I initially reached out to the third party contractor, she was like, no. But now that I can substantiate, well, God is substantiating in this letter dated February the 15th, 2016, all the money we've been spending out on our community, and of course, my HOA fees, individual, $275 a month. So they're going to have to justify that. And I'm so grateful that God put that job on me because the details do matter. When you go and look at all the evidence that has been put before us, it always points to exposing light to darkness, truth to lies. And I thank God that God kept me because nobody else spoke up. But God wired me to speak up and advocate on behalf, not just myself, of other people. It's the right thing to do. So this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I was just giving you an update. The water still hasn't been turned on in the house, but that don't stop me. I keep going. I still will give God praise. I still will be grateful. Today I'm not interviewing anyone because I kind of forgot, but I didn't forget to show up. So I forgot to remind my people, hey, I'm interviewing today on the first Saturday of the month, and I got my fans. Where the fans at? I got my fans. So I've been fanning. Oh, I need it today. I need the fan today. So that's my fan. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep on talking, and at some point I will talk about me, myself, and I, not just the water situation. I continue to do clean comedy. I meet people every day that bring me so much joy. And hopefully I can bring them some joy too, because all I do is talk about myself. Them three people. Me, myself, and I. Nobody else. Because you know what? I ain't trying to get slapped up by nobody. I learned that from Chris Rock. Because you talk about somebody, they get offended, they might just come up there and slap you across the face. And I thought about it. I said, well, if I just talk about myself, nobody gonna come. I ain't gonna come and slap me across the face. Because I don't like to get slapped. So I'm not going to intentionally try to slap nobody across the face. So I've been out here meeting veterans. There's a group of veterans that meet in Stockbridge, Georgia. And they normally meet at the Quick Trip, QT. And they bring their little chairs out in the morning. And I told them I was going to come back and do some comedy, talk about me, myself, and I. And I'm going to come and interview them one of these days. They don't hang out this time of the night, afternoon. They there early. But one of their colleagues agreed to having an interview with me, and he is around the corner and down the street. So I had to drive, and I guess you don't mind me driving and talking at the same time. He got a dog named Chico, but I don't know if Chico gonna be with him. But I said that I would stop by and have a conversation with him. He is former military. He wear everything. He wear it too. He live it, wear it. And so I said I was gonna stop by there today, and I just don't like lying. I got all my little um stuff on, so I'm gonna drive over there. Oh, they got some farmers over here. I hope they got seeded watermelons. I had to go when we get off, but I need some real fruit, and real fruit got seeds in it. So I need some watermelon. I don't want no seedless nothing. I don't eat seedless nothing. But he said he work at some club around the corner. I hope I can find it. But if not, there's enough stuff out here that I can talk about and I can rejoice about. I'm getting ready to get on 138. This is a main drag in or main stretch of road in Stockbridge, Georgia. And I never been to that club that he was talking about, but oh well. Um I hope I can find it. If not, I ain't gonna worry about it. It's everything around the corner around here. If not, I'm just gonna go right on up there at that QT, like I said I was, and be done. This ain't the place. I don't know where he at. So, like I say, I went to look for him, but I couldn't find him. He told me, but I don't remember stuff like that. Ooh. So anyway, he said he's a security, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. But anyway, let me stop rambling. Um, I'm just gonna just talk about something that's lovely, something that's good, how we can encourage one another and still be great. Be great at everything that we do in spite of the circumstances. Um, what I can say is be grateful and be thankful to everyone. Be kind to everyone because it does come back. It comes back in the way that it was given out. Like when I was younger, I never would have thought some of the bad things that I did would show up again. But now I'm trying to leave a legacy of kindness, of forgiveness, of love, peace, joy, because that's what I would like to receive this for it. Because I'm on my I'm heading toward my fourth quarter in life, and I like to enjoy the benefits of living this long, in spite of what is going on in this world. I don't have to listen to the news. I can sit up there and be quiet and listen to God talk to me because He always has so many good things about us. It's more than sand. And I read that in Psalms. So I'm gonna stay focused on positivity. I didn't know where this little club that he was talking about is, but what I can say is I went around the corner and I'm heading to this QT around the corner. Maybe somebody tell me where he at. If not, I'm just gonna continue talking. I can have conversations all day long. I talk all day, and that's why God wired me to speak because I enjoy talking sometimes. Oh, Jesus. It's something out here driving. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy platforms where God gives me an opportunity to speak to others and be transparent and be truthful about life and then the journey that God has got me going on at this point. Um, I've seen a lot of homelessness in the last year. Um, and I can relate. I don't want to relate to it, but I can relate to other people mistreating other people. So whenever I'm here, sometimes I make cookies and I share the different types of cookies with the homeless people. They appreciate the sugar cookies, the almond cookies, raisin cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies, chocolate chip cookies, peanut butter cookies. They love all that. So I don't mind sharing what I have. And since I have a certified kitchen that's certified through Georgia Department of Agriculture, my kitchen can bake. I mean, my oven, I can bake up some stuff. And it's just like I could talk, I can bake up some stuff. And I'm grateful for that privilege. And since I have a legitimate business, three of them, CC Imports, and I have God bless me with car outreach, and this is what I use to generate money to give to other people is because I use the baked goods. I sell baked goods and I can expand it to selling seasonings and sauces and other stuff. So I'm just about creating and generating. So let's create new things. And this situation happened to me just on yesterday. I was in Walmart and this gentleman saw me buying a few items and he says to me, "Ma'am, do you think you can pay for my groceries?" And I said, "Well, I really didn't budget that, so I can't do it right now." And he kept asking, and then finally I said, "No, I'm not going to change my mind. I don't have it in the budget. I can't do it." Do you know, um, I wanted to help him, but I could not help him because he has something much bigger than what I could visibly see. He needed more than groceries. And the fact that grew up in around addictions, um, I don't want to be an enabler anymore. I don't want to um, do things that's ultimately not going to help the person become free of their own diseases. So I could speak to addiction because I have been around a lot of addicts. And I feel sorry for their situation, but I don't feel sorry for them because just like God is helping me cope through a situation where over 2 years there's not been any water or sewage in my house and I'm paying the bill. My bill is included with the HOA fee of $275 a month. And then the fact that our county government has not done anything. Our city, the city of Conyers, has not done anything to resolve this problem. Um, the HOA, I've been going every month and say, "Excuse me, can you turn the water on?" And they'll I've had one comment, "Oh, we'll get to it." And then they tried to create a scenario. I'm gonna read you. I can actually describe the scenario. This is what happened on March the 23rd, 2025. I wrote this letter to the HOA in response. Um, and it's improper conduct and lack of proper notice. Now we have HOA meetings supposed to be the third Sunday of each month. But in March, exhibited unprofessional and inappropriate behavior by throwing an envelope in my direction. without explanation, nothing. The envelope landed on the chair, and then I don't know where it fell after that. At no point during, before, or after this act was I provided with any notice, verbal or written, regarding the contents, purpose, or relevance of this envelope. When I noticed it, I said, I don't pick up envelopes that are thrown on the floor at me. I don't do that. Unless somebody explained to me, or even if it was an accident, they would have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was not verbalized." So I'm explaining the conduct, how it was posed to me. The conduct was very disrespectful, dismissive, and contrary to the standards of decorum expected from a member in a position of leadership and fiduciary responsibility. Moreover, the incident highlights um, broader concerns regarding the HOA's lack of transparency and proper communication protocols. Homeowners, myself included, have a legal and ethical right to receive materials and correspondence in a respectful, professional, and verifiable manner. Throwing an envelope across across the chair or whatever is neither appropriate nor acceptable. As a resident and member of the community, I have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. I have a right to receive clear, timely, and documented communication regarding HOA matters that pertain to me. And I have a right to participate in HOA meetings that are governed by rules of order, transparency, and fairness. This is one of the letters I wrote. I respectfully request the following: a written explanation of the contents of the envelope and the reason it was not communicated to me through proper channels. Two, a full copy of any documentation or communication the HOA board believes was quote unquote delivered to me during that meeting. Three, written confirmation that all future communication from the board will be delivered via U.S. Postal Service, postal mail, to the address listed, which is P.O. Box 1668, Conyers, Georgia, 30012, with acknowledgement of receipt and with reasonable time provided for compliance or response. Four, a copy or formal statement of policy concerning resident treatment, respectful conduct, and informational delivery practices during HOA meetings as governed by the HOA laws or Georgia Condominium Act. Please understand that this letter, I wrote a letter on April 24th, 2025, is intended to bring clarity, initiate a record of concern, and encourage more respectful and effective communication practices between the HOA board and the homeowners it serves. I respectfully request that Viewpoint East Condominiums Association written response to my letter dated April 24, 2025, and all requested documentation be delivered to me at my address, P.O. Box 1668, Conyers, Georgia, 30012. This is going to be sent out certified return receipt. I see that they are not giving me access to the board minutes prior to our meeting, so I at least have an opportunity to research what we're going to be talking about and respond properly. This has been requested many times. And in this document that I just received on Sunday, I think the 27th of April, talks about a roof project that will be considered in 2026. And it states in here that the last time the roofs were done were in 2008, which is not the truth. So I see that this board is making up stuff, but because they gave me this, I have evidence to dispute what they're saying as a lie. You know, when you don't tell the truth, it's a lie. So since the president at that time was very descriptive on February the 15th, 2016, he says during this time, we roofed 17 of 19 buildings, which is 71 units. The cost of legal fees to Viewpoint East condominiums was $16,000 because some of the roofing application was not done properly. And that's because he was up there doing it. Okay. Approximately $102,000 was paid for by the insurance company. That's a very good deal for Viewpoint East condominiums. We cited 6 buildings, and he stated that on there. That's 2 or 6. And they invested other money. And we did it with only 2 special assessments. That's what he says. Who paid for the assessment? And then he further describes in his letter that unfortunately, for various reasons, no organization and leadership can please everyone. When someone feels they have not been treated fairly, they will latch on to every rumor and spew it as truth. I was even told perception is truth. This is what Michael T. Zanetti, the president of the Viewpoint East HOA, said in his letter. And let me continue on. I was told that new blood was needed to heal the wounded and that these board members are fully able to carry the banner forward. It is with some sadness that I announce my resignation effective at the end of the next homeowners meeting dated Tuesday, February 23rd, 2016. I wish the new president all the best. I would like to take an opportunity to thank the homeowners to to thank the owner, thank the homeowners to get involved to tell all the homeowners to get involved in your community. And America has slipped a little as we have become the me generation, placing our needs first and our neighbors second. I believe Viewpoint can do better. This is in his words. And not to not to say anything bad, but he says, as president, I have been a part of some outstanding boards. I've worked for and with other great members, such as Presidents Byron Corkle and Stephanie Brooks, and excellent board members such as Sharon Yarborough, Cindy Banks, Jean DeSalzo, which is Cindy Banks' mama, Kurt Schultz, John Gower, and Sandra Jackson and Marlene Torres, and many other homeowners have offered their time, as well as 2 fantastic coordinators. We first took on managing the board. There was no office. The clubhouse was filled with broken down furniture, boxes, and tools. We were given 10 boxes of paperwork. No computer, no phone was available. We were $6,000. We were in $6,000 of debt. The previous coordinator of Viewpoints ran the association from her home. The board was in the process of closing down the pool. When I came on the board, Kurt Schultz and I put up $3,000 each of our own money to pay bills and to keep the pool open. We then remodeled the office, which was a storage closet. We put in computers, hired a coordinator, paid for her to get trained on QuickBooks accounting. We moved operations into the clubhouse and had it remodeled, brought the pool up to code. This is in this letter, 2016. Ain't even been 10 years since he been gone. And I just look in them 10,000 and since 2016. I've been here the whole time. And what I'm saying is things have not gotten better. They went from, at least we had water in 2016. Now our house don't even have no water. I'm just looking and I'm writing letters. Another one of my letters or communications was dated. I dated this. It was May the 2nd, 2025. This letter was written to Viewpoint East condominiums. And I'm responding to their letter, which purportedly was issued in relation to a requested property inspection and appointment regarding my unit. And I say this, please be advised, I did not receive the letter in question in a proper or official capacity. It was not delivered to me by mail or formal HOA communication process. In fact, the reference letter was physically mishandled and discarded by the HOA president, thus never properly received, reviewed, or acknowledged by myself until a secondary communication. So apparently, April 23rd, 2025, they supposedly said they delivered a document, which it didn't, but perhaps on our last meeting, which was Sunday, April the 27th, 2025, a secondary communication verbally mentioned on last Sunday and alluded to this existence. It was in the bylaw, not bylaws, it was in the minutes. And this situation constitutes a failure when they didn't really give me the paperwork. She just threw it at me and didn't explain what was in the envelope. So this constitutes a failure in HOA internal delivery, notice, and communication protocols. I request that this incident be documented in the HOA records and meeting minutes accordingly. Any timelines or implications are on the alleged receipt of that letter are hereby invalid and void, as no verified delivery was made. I welcome an official and transparent process to resolve the damage assessments related to unit, provided that essential services with Rockdale Water Resources, the PSC public, that's the authorized PSC approved public water authority, is restored to conduct a proper inspection, particularly as they have been tied, all these damages are tied to a broader community damage caused by biolab chemical fire on September 29, 2024, as outlined in prior correspondence submitted to the HOA. I reiterate my position that a full forensic investigation, inspection of all common areas and connected areas is warranted. And any conclusions regarding responsibility should be based on a comprehensive expert evaluations, not assumed in isolated unit visits. Please confirm a new written request for property access if such visit remains necessary, and ensure that any further communications are required to have physical delivery with proper notice and tracking so they may be appropriately acknowledged and documented. And I sign my name. So we putting healthy boundaries in place. We do not have to accept bad behavior. We don't. That's like a bad plate of food. You just say, no, thank you, and document. I said, no, thank you. And I'm grateful that we now have an opportunity to create a better environment for our community. Okay. The fact that we got anybody behaving in such a manner is not reasonable at all. So I'm responding in writing, and I'm responding with the details, and I'm not accepting bad behavior anymore. All this stuff has to be verifiable. And so what if they tell this and that? They don't have no verifiable means of following. And since we have followed up, and I'm thankful, I'm so thankful to God that things are getting better. Things are getting better every day. And I might have some more paperwork to share with you guys because there's another letter that was written by this same president, Michael T. Zanetti. He writes February 26, 2016. This is after he had put in his resignation as February the 23rd. But on February 26th, he's still writing. He's still writing me letters. And in his letter, he says that he got an offer on his condo and he accepted the offer. However, he was conflicted as to he was trying, along with many board members, to get individual water meters to help make Viewpoint East is self-sufficient with controls over its bills. That's not part of the bylaws. I felt it less than honorable to lead Viewpoint East through this rough hurdle than leave. So I made arrangements to stay in an empty condo during the summer as a non-homeowner to assist in making sure the project work was done correctly for Viewpoint East's sakes. However, completing the task is becoming very difficult. I cannot fight for Viewpoint East or Viewpoint, dedicating hundreds of hours and fighting false accusations from a few homeowners. The plumbing schematics are in the buildings are very complicated and make it hard for most plumbing companies to work. I personally checked two of Jasper's past projects. This is the third-party contractor. Byron McCorkle, that's the former HOA, he's passed, checked Viewpoint East West. Hundreds of hours were invested, and Jasper is the best choice. That's what he says, February 26, 2016. The agreement papers have been signed and delivered, and that's why all the homeowners got their own personal agreement in the mail. I never got one. According to our lawyer, they ain't got no documentation of that. The agreement between Viewpoint East and Jasper is legally binding. That's what he said in 2016. Jasper is not even a water company. Okay. According to our lawyer, thankfully for you, Jasper honored its 2013 price of $2,360. The other estimate from another company was over 2,500, and that was 3 years ago. At this point, if there is a vote to overturn the previous individual metering vote or the agreement with Jasper, then Viewpoint might face legal repercussions for breaking the agreement. The very small group of individuals have decided that all my actions are self-serving. It is too difficult to lead Viewpoint East to financial stability while continually being falsely accused. Many of you written to me or called and say, stay in there and take the blows. Thank you for that and for the confidence you have shown me in previous presidents such as Byron McCorkle, Stephanie Brooks. He didn't mention nobody else. Thank you for those who pulled the rope in one direction. For as of now, I have stopped doing any business, Viewpoint business, and have already noticed that trash is starting to pile up in the dumpsters. We also have another homeowner who's selling her condo. However, she can't close because the roof is leaking. This is in 2016. When these new board members take over, I know that they will get 3 estimates for this job and every job following. Every contractor will be bonded, licensed, bonded, insured. And and when these costs start to climb, I was told it won't affect the monthly HOAs. Maybe this is a new accounting system I'm not aware of. Time will tell. As of the end of January, all the bills except the water are caught up. But in February, we paid over $9,000 to get caught up on the water. It's 2016. The water bill fluctuates between $5,000 and $10,000 per month. Cynthia's doing an outstanding job, and 4 of the board members will give a $3,000 credit to each homeowner for a bill that we did not owe. I never got no $3,000 credit. This was done without serious researching and finding the true responsible party of the claim. Cindy, Don, and I voted for it. I don't know if this is true. 4 board members created a unprecedented action. In the future, this would cause the HOA future damages. They have no grounds to blame me. Cynthia, John, Don. Oh, anyway. He's no longer a homeowner and unable to serve on the board, but he's still sending letters. He signed this letter. And he wrote it to me. This is something else. So, something else I'm giving up an update on. Foremost Insurance, which is part of Farmers, they paid out insurance claims according to Michael Zanetti's letter. They paid out records, so we can ask for those records. This is $102,000. Any insurance payments or disbursement by the insurance company And this was our policy number, PA0049777171. And the claim unit number was 3004910 1 1. The date of loss was November 9th, 2015, and other related claims between 2014 2016. My unit did not receive the maintenance that it's supposed to, nor the structural repairs funded through the insurance payouts. Full payment history I asked for. This is for foremost insurance. They had to provide that to us since I'm a active member, and whether or not the payees were dispersed directly to the contractors, the HOA, or third party. So this is what we get to have access to. We need a copy of the breakdown of claims and the disbursement, the dates, amounts, and the scope of work that was covered. And because there's been so lack of transparency by the HOA board members, we can request that. And that's due to, thank God, BioLab's fire. So without that fire, doing extra damages to what we already paid out, and the continual deterioration, because that's what chlorine does, we gonna have conversations with Farmers Insurance, ensuring that both property level and common areas are restored by BioLab because they're chemical fire, the corrosive chemical exposure. And then it's all over the place because they're telling us how we need to redo the roofs, siding, and fencing, and landscaping, and the vegetation that was burned up by the chemical fire, and the water and sewer infrastructure, and the common areas, and the asphalt and parking areas, as well as the soil and water. This is all contamination. The damages are directly attributable to the corrosive chemical exposure, particularly chlorine released during the BioLab incident. And our policy at that time was Z like a zebra, 049777171. It should have initiated an environmental and structural assessment, ensuring subrogation claims were taken care of by BioLab's third party. So they're going to have to reopen the file claims for 800 225 8662-1-2 in light of the environmental deterioration and structural failure. They're gonna have to, this is Farmers Insurance, they're gonna have to initiate evaluations to all common areas and connect unit systems. Okay. This is all part of the claim recovery and reimbursement efforts from BioLab's insurance provider. And it also, we have to check the status of past claim documentation and coverage extension under the reference policy. That would not have happened if this letter dated February the 15th, 2016 had not been written by the HOA, Viewpoint East Condominiums, HOA President Michael T. Zanetti, confirming the claim amounts and repairs funded by Farmers Insurance Policy 0Z04977171. And I have a copy of the claim units, the claims, different types of claims, water damages, and then they just responded saying, oh, the claims are too old. They're not too old because there was a payout made. And then Foremost had his policy too, documenting everything that went on. And that's something. Foremost letters to Foremost Insurance Group, both Taylor Brown and Foremost paid out claims. And this is going to go right directly to our HOA president. He gonna be held accountable for what he spent or didn't spend on the community. The money he spent fixing up his home property and everybody else's that was on the board property where they sold. And they gonna have to return all that money to the community. And the HOA owns the fences. So the third party contractor, before I get off, I know I'm long-winded, was claim number 746-017-126. I contacted Kara Mulinix. She's with third party. She's a senior claim analyst, Florida license G like in golf 077745. And she's got I think this says a California license 6003677. She's representing Riverwood Claim Management, and their address is 200 Northeast Missouri Road, Suite 305, Lee Summit, Missouri 64086. Her office number is 816-943-1779. Her direct number is 816-815-7868. Her fax number is 816-943-1149. Her email is kara.mulinix@riverwoodtpa.com. I sent a letter to her too, referencing our money spent out, requesting subrogation claims, conduct forensic inspections of all affected structures and community infrastructures, and file claims because they've been 2 years. Coordinate with environmental safety teams to assess the air, water, soil, and ensure residents' health and safety standards are immediately reviewed and addressed. Several people in the community have passed away. They announced it at HOA meetings. And since the roofs were done 2016 and not 2008, which is going to be verified with the claims checks that were initiated by all these insurance companies, there will be a paper trail. And that's what's going to expose our HOA. So it is 6:13 p.m. on May the 3rd, 2025. Thank you so much for keeping me company and for being here, because this has been a long update. I know I went all over the place, but this is what atypical people do sometimes. So I want to especially thank Sue and her husband Kurt for allowing me to have a conversation by myself today. But it does shines light on atypicals. Not to give up, to keep moving forward, be truthful, be honest, because the light always exposes the darkness. So again, thank you very much. See y'all later.
I'm on mute now.
Thank you so much, Cece, for being here as always with Ability Now. Thank you so much for that amazing update. I'm looking forward to hearing where things go and how things proceed from here. So again, we are here on the first Saturday of the month with Cece Carr and Ability Now. This is part of the Ability World of Ability podcast network, and truly, we thank you.